Welcome to the Call Dad podcast with your host, Call Dad CEO and visionary Matt Posda.
Welcome back. I had a little bit of a hiatus there through January, but we're getting back into recording these things and getting some content out for everybody here in the Call Dad world. Today we got a very special guest, Mr. Bryan Southers. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. Doing great, actually.
Yeah. So you said this is a first for you?
First for me.
Yeah, so you've never heard yourself in a mic talk like that
I've
before?
only heard myself on the cell phone, and I don't like what I hear.
Yeah, and in the shower country singing?
Yeah, I do sing in the shower.
Yeah. You look like a shower singing guy. All right, so for those of you who have not met Bryan, maybe it would be helpful if you don't mind just giving quick background, who you are, what your story is, maybe where you grew up, that whole thing, and then how you ended up getting into heating and air.
Yeah, interesting. So I started, let's go back. So backstory on me, I was adopted.
Were you really?
I was adopted.
Have you told me that?
I don't think so.
Yeah. This is a hell of a place to.
So news to everybody out there. But no, I was adopted, and I knew from a very young age it was never hid from me. That my
what age?
Born.
Yes, you were born into
correct.
The family. Okay.
Yeah. So grew up. My dad was a sales guy.
Yeah.
Surprise, right? But he owned his own business. Did all kinds of, everything that you could think of. He sold anything and everything. Yeah. But he had me selling at a very young age. Yeah. He used to teach me how to talk to people. Yeah. He would take his products that in his warehouse that wouldn't move throughout the weeks, and then on the weekend he would go to the flea market and offload it. Yeah. It's pure profit at that point. But he would make me do it. So
he put you to work.
Oh yeah, at a very young age. I'm talking 8 years old. Yeah. So I'm out there selling at the flea market, 8 years old, talking to people, collecting money, making deals, doing things like that.
Do you remember things that you were selling?
Oh, yeah. Anything and everything. Avon, Health and Beauty Aid, VHS tapes, tools, whatever he got his hands on that he wouldn't move, whatever's left over, we offloaded at the flea market. Yeah. Bags to vendors. He had me going around to other vendors and selling bags so they could bag their merchandise that they were selling.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
To whatnot. But fast forward to when I was about...
I like his style. That sounds like something I would have come up with as a kid.
Let me tell you something. He was quick.
Yeah.
He was quick on his feet. I met a guy 2 weekends ago at my daughter's basketball game that he looked at me, he said, hey, he goes, are you Bryan Southers? I said, well, it depends on if you're asking on like a tax perspective or personal. He goes, no, personal. I was like, yeah, I am. He goes, I remember you. He goes, I remember your dad. I built your garage out back. He goes, man, your dad had some sayings, man. And I was like, yeah, he did. Then he goes, I remember walking around the flea market and I heard your dad out there saying, hey, it's pretty girl day. He goes, if you're pretty, it's $1. If you're pretty ugly, it's $2. But luckily for you, I'm blind in one eye and can't see out the other, so it's $1 for everybody. And just stuff like that. I just remember as a kid. But just random, this guy coming up to me and telling me this stuff, and I remember those days. Like that doesn't seem like that's that long ago, but that's back in the early '90s, you know. Yeah. So fast forward to when I was about 16 years old, I decided I want to go into the military. Yeah. My dad was Army.
Is your dad no longer with us?
He's not. He passed away in 2006.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
You just were saying was, so I was
inferring
a
good catch. Good catch on that.
That college education really paid off on me.
Yeah.
But like 4 years to learn what past and present tense mean.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so I was 16 years old. I decided I wanted to go into the military. Yeah. They were doing a delayed entry program. I was about to turn 17. And I said, I'm going to go into the military, whether you like it or not. Yeah. And my mom was against it. My dad was for it. He was prior military. Yeah. So I had to sell my way into that. Yeah. To my mom, right? Hey, listen, Mom, I'm going to do it regardless. Yeah. You might as well give me a year's head start, because I graduated high school earlier than I should have. And so I went to the military. I did the delayed entry program. Went to the military at 17. Went to boot camp at 17 years old. But I did that I served in uniform for 13 years. Yeah. 13 years. 2 years was inactive ready. I went to the Guard for those couple of years and just it wasn't for me. So got out of 15 total collective years. But when I got out, something hit me on a Saturday morning. I was like, I really want to find my birth parents.
This is post-military.
Post-military. I was like, I kind of want to, never really cared before, but I was like, I really want to find. So I found my brother first on my mother's side.
Was this more like trying not to get into therapy?
Yeah.
But was this more trying to find yourself in a way probably than was trying to find them?
Like,
moving on from military, that whole thing.
I had kids and I'm like, man, my kids deserve to know if they have other like cousins out there and to grow up with, because the family I was adopted into was really small.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted a big family. Hence why I have so many kids now, right? Yeah. So it's like, I want to know if I want a relationship with a brother. I want my brother. So I found him, and he's operations manager for Charlotte Medic. And I did some research prior to finding him because I'm like, I got two brothers out there. I know one I heard was not that great of a guy, and the other one is pretty stand up. Yeah. So found Jeremy, stand up guy. He had a daughter at my daughter's age. Yeah. My niece Peyton. So I found him. We connected. I knocked on his door. Funny story. I'll make it really short, but knocked on his door on Saturday morning, and I looked at him. I said, "Hey, man, I'm not here to sell you Girl Scout cookies, and I don't really know how to put this, but I'm your brother." And he looked at me. He says, "You don't look like my brother." And I hear this lady over his shoulder saying, "Hey, JT, did someone knock at the door and say he was your brother?" And she came out. And she looked at me. She goes, "When were you born?" And I told her, and she goes, "Jeremy, you might want to invite him in to come sit down." And Jeremy's like, "What?" She goes, "You might want to invite him in to sit down." That was my aunt. That was my mom's sister, my biological mother's sister. She was there. They just retired. My uncle, she was a nurse. My uncle's an engineer for a big petroleum company. Yeah. And they were living in like UAE at the time because he's working for the oil company. And they just retired, moved back here, was living with my brother temporarily until they could figure out what they wanted to do in retirement. Yeah. And I just happened to be the right day to be there that she was there.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So we're sitting here talking, and she's asking me all these questions, and Jeremy's just sitting there like this. She's like, "You gotta be kidding me." Like, oh my God, this is interesting. Later I found out Jeremy, right after I left, called our biological mother and said, "Why didn't you tell me I had another brother? Like, why couldn't you have gave Sean up for adoption?" Yeah, like he was the one that was like the problem child. He's like, I have a great brother that was prior military, and successful and whatnot. But that led me down, him and I doing a 23andMe ancestry. And it came back a year later. I got a notification saying, "Hey, your paternal match was found." Never knew who my real father was. Yeah. And it popped up, Dwight Skidmore, HVAC. I was like, what? And by this time, one thing I skipped over is I started working in HVAC at Marsh Jenkins. Yeah. And I was at Marsh Jenkins.
Right, so you were already at MJ.
Yeah, already at
when
MJ.
You started going down this.
Correct. Yeah, I was only there about a year, maybe less. Maybe 8 months. I was there about 8 months. And then I found that, and I was like, holy shit. Like, he's in HVAC, and I'm in HVAC, and is it really in your blood? Like, it's got to be in your blood. So I reached out to him and started talking with him, and he knew. He's like, I didn't know, but I kind of knew.
So your brothers didn't know?
No, they have a different father.
Oh, different father.
Yeah, okay. That's when we found out. Okay. So Jeremy and I looked at each other like, well, guess so.
Did you meet your mom?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Great woman. Yeah. Yeah, great person. We actually built a really good relationship. Her and my mom knew each other. Yeah. Through high school.
Oh, so your parents knew the whole time?
They knew the whole time, yeah. Okay. And I knew. They told me from a young age. That's how I knew which road to go down. And kind of had some names here and there sprinkled throughout my life, right? But when I actually reached out and met my father, and I met my big family. Like, I come from a family of, I have 6 brothers, 3 sisters, and all of them are in HVAC. Like, my brother worked for Trane for 17 years. My other brother worked for my father that owned an HVAC company for 50 years. And so I'm going down this, I'm looking, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, and now I'm in HVAC. Yeah. Right? So it's gotta be in your blood. Yeah. Right?
How bad did you want to change your name to Skidmore?
Not at all. No, thanks Mom for adopting me and not letting me go down that path. Great people, terrible last name. And I asked my brother.
I could imagine that nickname in the military.
Skid mark, right? Yeah. I mean, thank God I didn't want to do that. But because if it's a skid, you're applying brakes, right?
Skid mark. Yeah. Get your butt down.
No wonder that stains on those drawers. Skid mark. I'm all gas, no brakes, man. Like I can't have skids. That means you're applying the brakes.
Been on laundry duty.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But so I got into HVAC as a service tech, maintenance tech, actually, and then worked my way up to the service.
How did you? Well, hold on. Sorry, backing
reel me in
a little bit. What made you decide you wanted to go into military?
9/11.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up. My grandfather and my father, both my grandfathers and my father, they were all in the military.
Yeah, so a little Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
situation.
exactly. Yeah. And I could run.
Yeah.
Like the wind.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I just felt like running.
Yeah. But that was so I went. My dad was actually in the Army. Everybody else in my family was in the Marine Corps or the Navy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he
was he putting it in your ear from a very young age, or no?
Mm-mm.
Just yeah.
No, I mean he made it known, but it wasn't like, hey, you need to do this.
Yeah.
I think he wanted me to make up my own mind because he told me from a really young age that he made a lot of money in his life.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to figure out how to make my own money.
Yeah.
He's not gonna give it to me.
Yeah.
So I think he wanted me to critical think and figure out what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was he taught me a lot.
Yeah.
In a very short time, right?
Yeah.
I was 17 years old and he passed away. That's pretty young, but taught me a lot in a very short time. And working with him every day has gave me the work ethic that I have.
Yeah.
And I appreciate every bit of that.
Yeah. Well, freaking hustling around a flea market.
Yeah, dude, 8 years old.
You're going to learn a lot of
I look back and
invaluable life lessons.
Were you really a good dad, or did you really put me out there for like someone to snatch me up at that time? Like you look at it, right? Oh, yeah. But no, I mean, I did. I learned a lot in a very short time, and I mean, I was 8, 9 years old, holding thousands of dollars in my pocket.
Yeah.
Because he told me, you're going to learn how to make change. You're going to learn how to count. You're going to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Valuable lessons.
Yeah. Can't believe that you ended up in sales. I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened either.
All right, so it's funny how that always works because I feel like I've heard stories from military individuals who try to push their kids into the military.
Yeah.
And it's always that like friction and rub.
Yeah.
It's like, so that makes sense that he didn't push you, but he made it known.
Yeah.
And kind of a nonchalant way.
Oh, dude, we watched Hamburger Hill and all these other movies, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, so ran your course. How did you pick MJ?
Funny story. So when I first got out of the military, I was just looking for a job.
Yeah.
Like anything and everything. I wanted to be a police officer is what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But they weren't hiring at the time.
Yeah.
Hiring freeze. I was going to go through BLET.
Why'd you want to be a police officer? Just
help people.
So servitude.
Just serve.
Yeah.
That's really all I want to do is serve at any capacity. Whatever that is. I looked into the paramedic realm, any kind of service industry. Yeah. And just people weren't hiring. Money wasn't great, but
What year was this?
This was 2017. Ish.
Okay.
Into 2017.
Yeah.
So I actually stumbled upon Time Warner Cable.
Yeah.
So I became a cable tech with them.
Yeah.
And still serving people. People needed a solution to a problem. I was able to go out there and fix a problem, right? And I had a buddy that I worked with.
And those are good jobs. It's just very different pace of life.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that was very high pace. Loved it. But pay was atrocious, right?
Yeah.
As you got up, you had your, kind of like what we do here, where you have your tech levels, right? Yeah. You had the same thing there. And with every tech level, you got a certification and more money and things like that. So when I went in saying, I know this job pays like crap, but there's a possibility for it to pay better. What can I do to get to that, like, quick?
So were you running like new setups basically, or were you
Trouble
running
calls and new
trouble
setups.
calls? Okay.
Yeah, both of them.
So do you need a damn new coax cable every single time?
No, not at all.
So
Typically,
why do
they got to
do
replace
that?
this because
What
they
are
screwed up the first time.
Yeah, like it feels kind of there's some scheme going on.
Oh
there.
yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but I don't need a damn new coax cable every single time.
You know, in HVAC, how we have actual, like Call Dad, we breed actual service technicians that can troubleshoot, right?
Yeah.
And then in this industry, you have parts changers.
Yeah.
Right? That's a parts changer.
It's equivalent of if you're getting a maintenance done and they're like, well, you signed up with our service. Unfortunately, we have to run a new line set.
Right. Exactly. That's 100%.
What?
Yeah, I know. I got to put a new capacitor on just because this isn't our capacitor, right?
I have the theory that the digging crews, the trench crews, are sliding money.
Oh, it's a huge transfer
to the techs to get them to put the.
Oh, it's a back and forth between, I guess, Spectrum now, right? And then yeah. There's definitely something going on.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean
Shady.
to go down that rabbit hole. Pun intended.
Right.
All right, so you were at Time Warner.
And then
Slinging coax.
slinging coax, climbing telephone poles.
Yeah.
So I went in, and in order to progress to the next tech level, you had to take these tests and whatnot. I finished all the testing all the way up to, and I can't remember what it's called now, but the top tier that you could be at as a technician. I took all those tests within a month and passed.
Yeah.
So I went in and just dug in where that normally takes people years to do. I grinded and it might have been 2 months, but it was a month or two. I had all the certifications done.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we can't pay you for that because there's like a time to where, at 6 months you can do this and then we'll pay you that. So thanks for getting it all done. But every 6 months we'll give you like $1 pay raise, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, come on, man, I'm grinding here. Help me out, right? And then Tanner, I worked with Tanner, and that's one of our comfort advisors here. And he left and went to MJ. And he called me he's been there probably 6 months at that point in time. He says, hey, man, if you want to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and work for a really good company, he says, you might want to come look this way.
Yeah.
So I made him jump first. He jumped first. He was the guinea pig.
Yeah.
He was super happy. So I decided to put in my app and whatnot, and I got in to they hired me on the spot when I went in for an interview. And I went through their tech builder program.
And this is their tech builder, yeah.
Tech builder program. I was actually their second tech builder program, because it used to be called Rising Stars or whatever it is in the other one. So I was actually the second tech builder program in their new building that they had down there. So that was roughly April of 2018. Around that time.
Yeah.
The process started in February, but I started my first day in class, I think, April. So I got out. I graduated tech builder in June.
Yeah. And again, at this point, Tanner was the only one you knew in HVAC. You did not know.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, several months later is when I found out about my dad and whatnot.
Yeah.
I started out, I rode with Tanner. Tanner was flipping leads. He was doing a lot of repairs. I remember he had this sticky note on his van dash that said 350,000. I was like, what's that? And he's like, that's my goal, man. I was like, what do you mean goal? He says, my revenue goal for the year. That's what I want to hit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, awesome, dude. That's cool. He goes, yeah, I put it there so I can look at it every day, and I know that's what I'm going for.
Yeah. That was like the old school standard $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
For a tech.
Right.
mentality.
Exactly. So he's like, that's what I want to get to. I was like, cool. So I graduated in June.
It's funny that we talk like that kind of tech mentality of the 350 is old school.
Right.
Whatever, 6 years ago.
Yeah. It's like, 350. What? But
Inflation.
Damn inflation. So I graduated in June, and I said, I'm going to beat that.
Yeah.
Well, you only got 6 months.
Yeah.
And do you know Jerry Rollins?
I do not. No.
He was their training director. He used to be a sales guy there. Bald guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Beard.
I've seen him in some MJ videos.
Yeah.
So I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
He told me, he says, you're going to be really good at flipping, or you're going to be really good at fixing. He is nobody's good at both.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
So I was out June 1st. First call, June 1st, I sold an air scrubber for $1,200. Oh, now I got the taste. I'm like, oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Yeah.
Went out there, customer had some issues, fixed their issues up, did some repairs, got them back going. They were super happy. And that just led down a rabbit hole. Next thing you know, I get my first opportunity to talk about the benefits of new equipment.
Yeah.
And I ended up flipping it over to sales. Sales went out there and sold it and got a pretty good kickback. And I was like, man, this is awesome. I get to help people and I get paid like this for it.
Yeah.
That's cool, right?
Yeah.
So from June 1st to December 31st, I did $648,000 in revenue. I looked at that 350 and I said, I'm beating that.
Yeah.
And so since then, Tanner and I would go back and forth.
Did you immediately rub it in Tanner's face?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. and my ego was huge at the time, right? I mean, it was.
Oh, just at the time?
I've toned it back a little bit, right? You got to have a little bit of ego. I had a lot of ego. It's bad when you have a lot of ego and no experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, so him and I would get into some
like you said, I don't know how you ended up in sales.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like the writing was on the wall from the day I was born.
Yeah.
But the next year after that was my first full year as a maintenance tech. Now I'm still a maintenance tech.
Yeah.
And I went to my boss and I was like, hey man, I really want to be in service. And I said, put me on night shift. I don't care. Put me on night shift. I want to be a COD tech. I want to be on service. He's like, you're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Just hold on. Okay. All right. And I kept pestering him. But the next year I was a maintenance tech, and Morris Jenkins at the time never had $1 million maintenance tech.
Yeah.
Never had one. Had close. A few people come close. But that year I ran with a few guys, Bud, Jake, myself, and I guess it was Demarius Ross at the time. We all ran together and just talked back and forth, and iron sharpens iron, just honing each other's skills and whatnot. And that year, all of us hit over $1 million in revenue.
No kidding.
As a maintenance tech.
There's 4 of you?
4 of us.
No kidding.
Yeah, went from not ever having one to now having 4.
Yeah.
Fast forward, all 4 of us later ended up in sales.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But then we became demand service techs, and that's when I started selling, $1.5 million, $1.75 million, $2 million, whatnot, and just kept going down that path and just up and up and up and up. And what I've come to realize is the ticket that nobody really talks about is that communication.
Mm-hmm.
The communication I have with those guys, like we're talking, we're having those critical conversations, we're critiquing each other, we're role playing as we're driving down the road. You got so much windshield time and you're just driving in dead silence or listen to music. And I'm not bashing you if you like listen to music, but the windshield time that we get in this industry, you should have your PhD in something.
Yeah.
All right. Better yourself as you're driving. Yeah. And that's what we did. And we went with each other to the next level, and next level, and next level. So that was pretty interesting.
It is I would say probably the most reoccurring theme that I see in people that, again, I want to be careful how I say it, because you can be absolutely successful in this career. Just as you said earlier, the flipping or fixing, like you can be just repair focused and just fixing focused and have an incredible career.
Absolutely.
Like, incredible career.
100%.
So it's not necessary or incumbent that you have to take this path, but the most successful, the most rampant growth that you see are individuals who are constantly communicating with other individuals that are kind of at their level or significantly above their level, where they're trying to learn. And it's whether you're doing it extra time, whether you're doing it in between calls, whether you're doing it before work, after work, whatever it is. Those that are constantly trying to grow themselves and constantly trying to learn from others just accelerate so much faster than those around them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's an absolute choice that you have to make, and it's something that you have to want. But the opportunity and the experience, the breadth of experience that you have around you is incredible.
Yeah.
Utilize it.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't have experience or don't have it around you, just calling somebody who's in the same boat as you and having those conversations independent, it's incredible.
The room is smarter than the individual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody can teach you something.
Yeah. Hey, what happened on your call?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. How'd you handle that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How would you have handled that?
Correct.
You know, and being able to take that and run with it.
Yeah.
Be coachable, right?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing is be coachable and be hungry.
Yeah.
Want to learn more.
Yeah.
And there was guys I worked with that hardly ever flipped, but they fixed.
Well,
they were successful.
It's one thing to be coachable. It's another thing to seek out coaching.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people who are coachable.
Yeah.
But to your point, they would rather avoid it.
Yeah. Right. I know I can be coachable. But I don't want to go out and say, hey man, can you help me?
Correct.
Well, that's an ego thing, right?
Correct.
That's an ego thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you're at this point, you're demand tech, right? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. So at this point, I went through their COD service boot camp to prove that I'm ready to be a demand tech.
Okay.
And so you go through that boot camp, and that's where you learn your advanced troubleshooting. They're saying you should be able to know how to troubleshoot the more advanced things, and we're going to teach you other things, but we want to see how well your troubleshooting skills are.
Yeah.
We want to see if you can braze. If you can't braze, that's fine. We can teach you how to braze.
Yeah.
But you go through this, you take this test, and then you pass, and then you become a demand tech. So that next January, and this was probably 7, April, and then 19. So this is 2020.
Yeah.
So fast forward 2020, and I'm a demand service tech. And the way they structure it is you have opportunity levels. Opportunity 1, 2, and 3. 3 is the highest opportunity level you can be. That's getting great calls.
Yeah.
And you start over when you go to demand service.
Yeah.
So I was an opportunity 3 maintenance tech, and then I went to opportunity. Actually, they brought me in as opportunity 2 service tech, but quickly made it to op 3 within a month or two. But that first time, I come to realize there's no difference between a service tech and a maintenance tech.
Yeah. So just so I understand, their opportunity 1, 2, and 3 is the same as 0 to 5, 5 to 9,
correct,
10 plus,
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Tech to determines, free second opinions, things like that.
Yeah.
But what I come to realize is that now, when shoulder season was here, I was doing the same thing I am as a maintenance tech.
Yeah.
And so you got to be careful because that mindset will really screw with you if you go from maintenance tech to service tech. And then now if you let your ego inflate, I'm a service tech and I don't need to do maintenance anymore, right?
Service techs don't have ego.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Nobody has ego. But I started getting into that mindset to where it's like, why am I running this maintenance? I'm a service tech. Yeah. I'm an up to service tech, right?
It's like you got your stripes.
Got my stripes. Like I put in my time. I'm washing these coils, right?
Yeah.
But then I had to gear myself back and really sit back and reflect and say, you know what? I did my first $1 million in maintenances.
Yeah.
Well, there's money here.
Yeah.
Right? There's people to help here. So re-gearing that mindset back to that. And that's when I realized there's no difference between a maintenance tech and a service tech. If you do your job properly, you should do the same thing on a service call as you do on a maintenance.
Yeah.
The same processes, the same checks.
Correct. It's a playbook.
It is. The full diagnosis of the entire system, not just what's at hand.
Yeah.
We're so quick. It's summertime. I did it. We all did it. It's not the right thing to do, but we did it. Go out there, the fan's not running, bad capacitor, slap a capacitor on. $350, let's go. $500, let's roll. Right? Yeah. Roll into the next one. But what killed that capacitor?
Yeah.
Right? We need to take our time with the customer. They deserve that. Correct. They deserve to know that you're out here and I'm not going to have any issues when you leave, right?
Yeah.
So let's dig in and figure that out.
Yeah.
So when I re-gear my mind to that, it started opening. I was able to see more opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you normally wouldn't see because your ego blinded you from that, right?
No more 20-minute job times.
No more 20-minute job times. I mean, let's be real. Your greet step and explore step with the customer, that should be at least 30 minutes, if not longer.
Yeah. Before you're even
talking about equipment.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, come on, let's build rapport. People do business with who they like, know, and trust. How can someone know you and like you and trust you in a 20-minute total job time?
Yeah.
They can't.
Yeah.
It's not serving
now
my
again,
family.
the customer type is going to dictate how long it goes.
Correct.
Right. You're going to get those that it's going to be it's going to be hard to break through, but you got to give it a little effort.
You do.
And then there's going to be those that you can't get to stop talking to you. And it's like you got to navigate that. But the point is you got to follow the playbook. You got to follow the process. 100%. Right.
It's proven.
Yeah.
The process is proven. This is not something that was just designed. We threw it and see what sticks and roll on. This is studies, hundreds or thousands of hours of study on this to design this playbook, so we know this is going to work.
Storm alert!
It's because I'm in here.
Yeah, look at that, bringing the heat.
Yeah,
this thing has never been right.
What is that? Is that a Garmin?
It's a Koros.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's given me that warning maybe like 8 times since I've had the thing, and it's never once been right. I mean, the clouds look a little suspect.
Start talking about 20-minute job times, and it goes storm alert goes off. Look at your blood pressure.
I feel like the barometric pressure in the range just dropped.
Yeah, it's all this right here. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Dad's playbook.
It's proven to work.
Yeah.
You gotta. It's there to keep you on that track, the train track, right?
Yeah. How long? So you early on, even as a main, like you believed that the process is the way.
Yeah.
You never
100%.
fought it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I believe in this is the process. This is what you do. Now take it and make it your own.
Yeah.
Right. As long as you're following this, you kind of tweak it to you. Right.
Yeah.
But you're still following it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was proven.
Yeah.
It was proven. I had conversations with my boss, and we dove into numbers and things like that. And you could see the guys that did not follow the playbook versus the guys that did.
What do you think
difference?
If you had to pick one reason, or the most prevalent reason why people don't follow the playbook or follow the process, what do you think it is?
Oh, that's a good question. I think people don't follow the playbook because, I mean, I've heard it from a lot of people in the industry. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. They don't understand the why behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to me, it's got to be ego.
It is ego.
Yeah.
I'm better than that.
Than this.
Yeah.
I don't need to practice, or it's like you show me somebody who's willing to role play, and
I'll show you a winner.
Correct.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. All day, every day.
100%. I agree with that.
Willing to realize that putting yourself in a repetitive, just because you've done it a million times scenario seems stupid and a waste of time. And that's
you're doing an injustice to the customer if you don't follow the playbook.
Yeah.
Because they don't want any unknowns.
Correct.
The playbook eliminates unknowns and uncertainty. We're in such a time of uncertainty now, with the way the climate is in the world. We can be the voice of certainty.
Well, I mean, if you think about my story getting into this business, it was uncertainty that created it. Right. That first tech from unnamed company that was not very. He probably just was having a bad day.
Yeah.
But he left me uncertain.
Right.
He wouldn't answer my questions. He didn't take the time to educate me, to build rapport, to build a relationship. He left me feeling uncertain. And the second one, I couldn't freaking get a hold of.
That's right.
Right. So I was always in a constant uncertainty. Yeah. Are they going to answer the phone? Are they going to call me back? Are they going to show up? All that. So like uncertainty is what that was where the vision was originally built upon, was solving uncertainty.
Right.
So all of those steps are really designed around
100%
solving uncertainty.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, we need to be that support to the customer. We need to be able to be that company that they know will answer when we call.
Yeah.
Answer their questions.
Yeah.
And that's what the playbook's for.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You might think it's stupid because you do it. If you do the playbook every single call, you're going to play in your head, man, God almighty, I'm doing it again. This is dumb.
It's corny.
Yeah. Well, guess what? That customer that you're going to that has never called us before has never heard the playbook.
Yeah.
I want our customers to get to the point to where they hear the playbook so much and so repetitive, they know what's coming, right? It's like, I know you're going to no, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
Because now they trust you because I know they're doing the same thing every single time.
And they know what they're going to get.
They know what they're going to get.
Yeah.
And I said this the other day in a meeting. if the customer is a Family First member of ours and they have an old system, and you're just now telling them that they need a new one, and it's the first time they're hearing about it, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
That should have been building up from the time, hey, just let you know it's working now, everything's great. We did a few things, tweaks them, but this thing is 10 years old.
Yeah.
You might want to just go ahead and start thinking about the future, right?
Clock is ticking.
Yeah, you should never hear about it whenever something bad happens.
Yeah. All right, so natural progression into sales.
Yeah.
When did you know that you wanted to get into sales?
Whenever I went to that first Champions Gala
and you saw
yeah. And I became really close when you become
so it was literally that
flipping,
night was when you made that decision.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I was like, man, these are the guys I talk to every day when I'm flipping these systems.
Yeah.
And they're making a boatload of money.
Yeah.
Man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
How do I get there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a stature with it, right? There's a sense of stature that comes with that.
Yeah.
Like it's great sales guys.
Going from stars or from stripes to stars.
That's right. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. It's green to gold, right? Yeah. It's definitely green to gold.
Yeah.
And there's a dopamine hit. There's an adrenaline rush knowing I'm going from this hourly pay with some spiffs to it's nothing but spiffs. Performance pay.
Yeah.
It's on me.
Yeah.
At that point in time. And if I have to bet, I'm always going to bet for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to come out on top.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water.
Yeah.
So that's the role I want to be in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you pushed on the sales side.
Yep.
How was the transition to that?
So I pushed on the sales side with MJ.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, you'd be great, but
there's a
not
long
right yet.
list.
Yeah, we don't need it right now.
Yeah.
And look, from a business standpoint, it's like, okay, if we remove our number one lead setter, then who else is gonna flip those leads?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I was number one lead setter. We had, like I said, we had those 4 guys, right, that were great.
We're all cranking.
Yeah, we were all cranking them out, right? But if you pull one out, that's a huge hit.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, right? But I'm not waiting. If I want it, I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
And you're not going to stop me. The only person that can stop me is the good Lord and my wife.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to go get it. So I ended up, a guy contacted me that worked for Rye Heating and Air. He was the GM there. He's like, hey, man, I need a sales guy. All right, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
I know what I want. I'm going to do it. So I went over there.
Never done sales
before on that level, right? But I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
That's just always the type of guy I've been. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
May not know it yet, but I'll be an expert in it in no time, right? So I went to my first call, sold it. No discounts, straight value, built relationships. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. Went to my second call, sold it. Went to my third call, sold it.
I just picture ego every.
Oh, it's inflating, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's why these double doors are here for a reason, right? I mean, you wouldn't be able to fit me through that door. Matt, this is no exaggeration. I went 100%.
How was your first day in sales?
Oh, dude, I made so much money.
Exactly how I expected it to go.
Yeah. No one makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah, I mean, if you ain't first, you're last.
That's right. Those are wise words. Well, they're second and third and fourth, right? But no, I went 100% for 2 months. 2 months straight. Didn't miss one.
Only had 3 leads, but
I can't remember how many leads I had. It was quite a bit, but yeah.
Sorry, 6.
Yeah, 7. Don't shortchange me. But no,
this is in no way derogatory towards.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh god.
But yeah, I mean, wow, I got that taste, man.
Yeah.
God, it changed the world.
Yeah.
Saw that paycheck, changed the world.
Yeah. It's such and that's the thing. Like I've tried to explain this to people who want to get in sales just for the paycheck dynamic, but it is such an emotional roller coaster of highs and lows that like people don't understand that dynamic,
right.
And it takes a certain type of personality and character to be able to handle like the manic nature of sales.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, there are highs where you're doing like some of the best sales guys, like you can tell by the way they act when they get the sale, because what do?
Oh, dude. They want the next one.
You did it today.
Yeah.
It's the woo.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh, did you hear me on that? Yeah.
Like it's just the name. Like it's somehow like Ric Flair is ingrained into every salesman in the world.
That's right.
So there's that dynamic, and you just have to have that fire. You can't just do it because you want to get paid. You like the reward of the win.
Yeah.
Just as much as the paycheck.
I did it to prove a point to myself.
Yeah.
That I could do it. Right.
Yeah.
And the paycheck was just a plus.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the money. You eventually get numb to it. You really do. You get numb to the money.
Yeah.
But you get addicted to the win.
Yeah.
And that's what you're searching for. You know the money's coming. I want to win.
Yeah.
And it does. You hit the nail on the head with the emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
You have to have the mental fortitude to be resilient to withstand that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you know that there's nobody coming to save you, it's just you. Like you gotta win.
Yeah.
Everyone's counting on you. The company, the installers, your wife, your kids. Like everyone is counting on you for that win.
Yeah.
That win is not just about you.
Yeah.
It's about everybody.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Correct. Yeah. Agreed. And also, like, sometimes that's the mental fortitude that you have to have. Well, there's fortitude aspect, but there's also you have to carry that burden and that weight, because if you don't, it's hard to stay motivated and engaged the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're going out there and you think it's a bad lead, or you think it's a bad, like, taking that motivation with you will help.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not about you.
Yeah.
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 And the climate of sales has changed throughout the years, and you used to have the boiler room salesman, and then now we have consultants, consulting sales, right? And that's why we call them comfort advisors. They're not sales guys. They're not salespeople. They're comfort advisors. You're there to advise.
Yeah.
As a comfort advisor, I can't tell you how many times I sat down and I had money management classes with a client, with a customer, right? It's like, I'm there to advise them. I'm not there to sell you anything.
Yeah.
I'm there to advise you on the things that you need.
Yeah.
And if that means we need to talk about how money works to be able to get you to that point, then I want you to walk away with something.
Yeah.
Right? So
which is straight up education, right?
It is. We're teachers.
Yeah.
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 That's all we are. We're teachers. We're advisors.
Yeah. So what happened when you had your first offer?
Oh, it sucked. It sucked so bad. I carried that
Did you
burden
go into
with
a
me.
slump after?
No, I didn't. I went into a slump shortly after that of just credit rejects.
Yeah.
It was pretty nasty.
Oh, yeah. Blame it on financing.
Yeah. There are terrible leads. I'm just kidding. There's no such thing as a terrible lead. But no, I hit that I hit the offer, and it took a hit to my ego. Yeah. And then where I screwed up was I kept contacting that customer over and over and over and over and over again. And I was just like, I'm not going to lose, right?
Yeah.
But my ego wouldn't let me just let it go. And the best advice that I could tell someone coming into sales or being in sales is that forget about it.
Yeah.
Follow up. That's okay. But forget about it.
Yeah.
And move on. Don't carry that with you to the next call.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
I mean,
because that's how slumps happen.
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly how it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went to that next call, was I still thinking about another call? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It probably could have affected me. It probably affected me down the road somewhere, right? Because now I'm scared. I'm like, oh God, was that the end of the reign of Bryan?
Yeah.
Right.
You start thinking about what you did wrong. You make too many corrections to your process.
Yeah. And that's the importance of staying on track with the playbook.
Yeah.
Don't make those corrections.
Yeah.
If it's not working, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it, because it's eventually going to work.
Or don't make so many corrections that you can't pen to what actually
change one. Say this instead of that and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it's a train track. Follow the playbook.
Yeah.
And when I went into sales, the playbook I followed, we didn't have one where I was working at Rye. There was no sales playbook. It was just me out there in the Wild West.
Yeah.
But I took the same sales playbook I had as a technician and applied it as a sales guy.
Yeah. The premise is basically the same.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to name this one Follow the Playbook.
Follow the playbook. Yes.
All right, look, we're at 45 minutes here. So what I want to do is get you back on here next time so we can talk about how you ended up at Call Dad, and then what you do for Call Dad now. Which,
Absolutely.
Assume most people know who you are by this point. If they don't, shame on them. They haven't seen you walk through a door.
Yeah, why have you not said hey to me? I'm just kidding. Shame on me. I should be saying hey to you.
But man, I'm so happy that you're part of the team. I know we have a lot of fun here together in terms of what we're trying to accomplish and the growth that we got set out for this year. I know there's a lot of challenges that, as always, that we got to work through, a lot of changes that we got to work through.
For sure.
I appreciate everything you're doing. Appreciate you sharing how you got into the industry today. I learned something new about you that I had no clue about. I don't think you ever told me that, or at least not that I remember.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing that and being willing to share that with everybody else. So
yeah, I'm happy to be here. Love it. Love what we're doing. We got some great things going on.
Yeah. If you're out there and you're trying to grow as a tech, if you're trying to go even as an installer or sales or whatever, make sure you pick this guy's brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's passionate about it.
Jackson does it every day.
I bet he does.
He does. Love that guy. Love that guy.
Yo, dog.
Hey, yo, dog, I'm trying to get these numbers. Where are them digits at? That's what he told me earlier. Like, he's still waiting on me to give him some numbers right now.
All right. I appreciate you. Thank you for checking in.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. We'll see you. Bye.